I'm a firm believer that there is always a possibility to return for a player. So, but that's not. So yeah, I can leave it with that, I think.
And how was his reaction in the conversation you had today?
A short one.
Ian Dennis, Live.
Hi, Arne. You say that you've spoken to Mo quite a few times in recent weeks. I just wonder, he was a substitute twice in his first 18 games this season. What or why has he then only been on the bench for the last 3 games? What prompted that change?
I think we as a team struggled this season and already last season more and more with the game plans other teams had against us. So I'm not only talking about the long ball style, which is something team mainly do against us now. So I've tried to come up with solutions because this is my job, and we've tried many things. We looked very vulnerable, in my opinion, after all the things I've tried against Forest and against PSV. And then I decided to play with an extra midfielder in the game against West Ham, where we won the game. So I decided to do it one more time against Sunderland, where at half-time I brought him in. And against Leeds we faced a 5-3-2, where I've decided to play a 4-4-2 diamond, if you want to look at it like this, with Ugo Ekitike a bit off the right side and Cody Gakpo a bit off the left, with Florian Wirtz in between. And I could have played Mo as well off the right instead of Hugo, but I decided to play Hugo.
Hand on heart, do you think he's played his last game for Liverpool?
I have no clue. I cannot answer that question at this moment of time.
James Pearce.
Arne, it's been such a difficult time for the team anyway. This has heaped more negativity on it. Do you feel like your authority has been undermined? Do you feel let down?
Again, 2 questions in one. I don't feel my authority is undermined. Is that the way you say it? It's not the way I feel it. And the second question was?
Just in terms of, does it make your life even more difficult during such a difficult period anyway?
If that was even possible. But it's not about me. If my life is difficult, yes or no, that's not very important in a situation like this. It is if it's more difficult for the team and for the club. And I think no one likes us to be in the situation we are in at the moment. First of all, it's difficult to see that staff members that work so hard on a daily basis, they are affected by the situation we're in now as well. Mainly because of the results, seconds of all, about what this has done as well. So that's not a good thing for us as a team. And that is where I'm mostly, where my thoughts go to, not towards me. I'm totally not, okay, because I'm the manager, I have to pick a team, so I'm to a certain extent I'm important in this situation as well. But the focus that I have at the moment is completely on the team and not on me at all.
Question each for Adam, Lewis, Hamza.
Hi, Arne. When Mo said that he felt he was thrown under the bus, do you understand that frustration? Do you understand why he would say such things?
Then I should know what he exactly means with it. So, and that is difficult for me to know what he exactly means with it and why he says this and who he's referring to. And
so you've not had that conversation?
No, not what he meant with those words. No, we just. So I think usually I'm calm and polite, but that doesn't mean I'm weak. So if a player has these commands about so many things, then it's about me, us as a club to react, and we reacted in a way you can see now that he's not here.
Lewis?
Arne, do you think it's obviously a frustrating situation for you personally, but do you think you could have done anything differently to avoid this happening, to avoid it getting to this point where Mo feels like he has to go and vent his frustrations?
Then I should find out exactly why he said what he said, and but then I have to guess a little bit if that's not only because he doesn't play, then the answer to your question could be just play him every single time. But maybe that's not the reason why he said what he said. Maybe there's something else why he has this opinion. But if it is, but that I don't know. Is it about me not playing him? Yeah, then the answer could be, what could I have done differently playing him? But maybe that's not the reason why he thinks and feels this way. And he has every right to feel what he feels, but he doesn't have the right to share it with the media. He has that right, but then it's up to us to react on it.
Hamza.
Hi, Arne. When was the last time that you spoke to Salah? Just because Salah mentioned that his relationship with you had broken. Are you on speaking terms?
Yes, we were. Yeah, but it doesn't mean we were always agreeing on things. But I spoke to him twice in the week before, in the 2 days before Leeds.
Have you spoken to him since Leeds?
No, I already said that a few times. Yeah, he was on the training ground today, and I told him that he didn't travel. Yeah, but that's not speaking to someone, in my opinion. Yeah, that is speaking to someone, but it's not having a conversation in your room. But I had that twice in the lead up towards Leeds, one a little bit longer and one a bit shorter, but I'm not going to go into the details if that's going to be the next question. But
Sorry, just to clarify, you mean when you say you spoke, it was just to the group and he was there? Is that what you mean? In training?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not specifically like...
Yeah, I communicated towards him that he wasn't traveling. Yeah.
Thank you.
Guys, I think we should finish questions on Mo. We've done 10 minutes on Mo, so if we could focus on the game now. So at the front,
just
on
the
the
last,
game.
just the last one.
No, not on Mo. On the game.
Okay, so let's pass to the game. Coach, to face a team like Inter with so many winning streak, what's the challenge between that for a team that is having a tough time like yours?
That we face a very good and strong team that has done really well this season in the league and in the Champions League. That has been a big force in the Champions League for the last 3 seasons. Twice playing the final and once going out on penalties against Atletico Madrid, which unfortunately we did last season against Paris Saint-Germain. So yeah, we know we are going to face a very strong team tomorrow, and that's always the biggest challenge there is in a game. It's always the team you face and the individuals you face, and they have a very disciplined team, a very experienced team as well, and a lot of quality.
Good evening. As far as I know, Cody Gakpo and Federico Chiesa did not arrive today to Milan. Why?
Federico is ill, so that is poor timing, you could say. But yeah, it's not something you can do anything about. So we are monitoring his situation. If he has an amazing recovery, which we doctors don't expect, he might travel tomorrow. But let's have a fair expectation. That's not what I expect. And Cody Gakpo, unfortunately, picked up an injury in the last game we played against Leeds, and he will be out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Hi, thank you for Sport Italia. Mr. Slot, I want to...
And that is certainly hurting Liverpool, who didn't bring Mo Salah into action. He was left on the bench again, on the bench, of course, 3 times last week. And this is what he had to say after the game.
Very disappointed. I'm very, very disappointed. I have done so much for this club. Everybody can see that during the years, and especially last season. Sitting on the bench, I don't know why. Seems like the club is throwing me under the bus. That's how I feel it. I think it's very clear that someone wants me to get all the blame. The club promised me in the summer for a lot of promises and nothing. So far, I'm in the bench 3 games, so I can say that they keep the promise. And I said that many times before. I had a good relationship with the manager, and out of the sudden, we don't have any relationship. I don't know why.
So that was Mo Salah on Saturday evening at Ellen Road, lighting a fire under the whole situation. The breaking news earlier this afternoon that he was left out of Liverpool's travelling party to go and play Inter Milan at the San Siro. And it was at that stadium, the San Siro, that Arne Slot was speaking just a few moments ago.
So do you feel he was referring to you when he talked about being thrown under the bus? And
the only one who can answer that question is Mo himself, so I can guess, but I don't think that's the right thing to do in this moment of time. So It's hard for me to tell who he means in that situation, to be honest. We've let him know that he's not traveling with us, so that was the only communication that's been there from us to him.
But do you think you could have done anything differently to avoid this happening, to avoid it getting to this point where Mo feels like he has to go and vent his frustrations?
Then I should find out exactly why he said what he said, and but then I have to guess a little bit. If that's not only because he doesn't play, then the answer to your question could be just play him every single time. But maybe that's not the reason why he said what he said. Maybe there's something else why he has this opinion. But if it is, but that I don't know. Is it about me not playing him? Yeah, then the answer could be what could I have done differently playing him. But maybe that's not the reason why he thinks and feels this way. And he has every right to feel what he feels, but he doesn't have the right to share it with the media. He has that right, but then it's up to us to react on it.
Are you on speaking terms?
Yes, we were. Yeah, but it doesn't mean we were always agreeing on things. But I spoke to him twice in the week before, in the 2 days before Leeds.
Have you spoken to him since Leeds?
No, I already said that a few times. Yeah, he was on the training ground today, and I told him that he didn't travel. Yeah.
So Mo Salah left at home, and it does feel like it's a very sad development for a club legend. Jamie, you've had what's your take on it?
I thought it was a disgrace, what he did after the game. Some people have painted it as an emotional outburst. I don't think it was. I think whenever Mo Salah stops in a mix zone, which he's done 4 times in 8 years at Liverpool, it's choreographed with him and his agent to cause maximum damage and strengthen his own position. He did that 12 months ago, and I called him out on this show about it. And he played on the heartstrings of Liverpool supporters. Liverpool were top of the league. He'd scored the winning goal at Southampton. That was the time to come out and put pressure on the Liverpool ownership. So for the rest of the season, you'd have banners in the crowd, give Mo his dough. He's chose this weekend to do this now. And he's waited, I think, for a bad result with Liverpool. You can see the last-minute goal. Liverpool supporters, managers, the manager, everyone involved with the club feels like they're in the gutter at the moment. And he's chose that time to go for the manager and maybe try and get him sacked. That's the way I felt about it. The one line that stands out for me is thrown under the bus. He's tried to throw the club under the bus twice in the last 12 months with the situations that I've just mentioned. Now, going after the owners initially, these are owners who've been paying him hundreds of thousands of pounds for 6 years. He's complained a year ago because they haven't given him a contract at the age of 32. More than entitled to do that. With the manager right now, he should be doing as much as he can to help the club get out the worst run of results they've had since the 1950s, and he hasn't done that. But when I've thought about it over the weekend, and I've put myself in Salah's position, or how I was as a player, I'm not Mo Salah. Mo Salah is a world-renowned player who was famous around the world. And should those players be treated differently? I think they should. I think they should be treated differently. And when you think of the players in that bracket over the last 8 years, I would say Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe. I wouldn't put Salah alongside them, but he's very close for what he's done for Liverpool. So a legendary figure. And all those players, I think, get a privilege. Exactly the same one Mo Salah gets at Liverpool. He doesn't have to defend. He doesn't have to chase back. So that's the privilege he has with Liverpool. But when we're talking about throwing people under the bus, he's threw the Liverpool right back under the bus for 8 years. Can you imagine playing behind him for 8 years? But we accept it because he's a superstar and he scores 250 goals and he's given me, as a Liverpool supporter, some of the greatest nights of my life watching him and what he's done. And that's why we accept it. But also then when you think of the ego of these type of players, Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe, Mo Salah, I think they have a feeling that the success of a football club is down to them. Now, I have no problem with that, because I think that drives them on to score more goals and get more success, and it benefits Liverpool. It then becomes a problem when you're in a situation like this. And when Mo Salah's talking about how many goals he's scored, I've got more goals than anyone in the Premier League, what I did last season, he's always speaking about himself. One thing I just want to sort of remind Mo Salah, maybe his agent, is that before he come to Liverpool, Mo Salah was known as the guy who failed at Chelsea. That's just a fact. He'd never won a major trophy before he came to Liverpool. Greatest player his country have ever had in Egypt. Egypt, in the African Cup of Nations, are the most successful nation. He's going there in a couple of weeks. Mo Salah's never won the AFCON. That is not me trying to put Mo Salah down as a player. I've just said he's one of the best players in the world in the last 8 years. Very few better. But what it tells Mo Salah and his agent is, it's not about an individual. You weren't a big star before you come to Liverpool. You haven't really won anything with Egypt anyway. And all that's telling you is, no matter how good a player you are, you need help from your teammates, your manager and fans. And I think that's really important that he remembers that. And when he's talking after the game there in the mix-up, all it's about is me, me, me.
You will be aware, Jamie, I'm sure as well, that there will be those listening to you speak passionately there that say that Jamie Carragher was always going to attack Mo Salah or criticise Mo Salah tonight. Mo Salah said it himself, didn't he, after the game? He said, Jamie Carragher will go for me again and again.
Have I ever criticised Mo Salah on the pitch?
Well, a couple of weeks ago you said his legs had gone.
No, I don't class that as... that's something that happens to every player. That's not a criticism of him as a player. I've never criticised him for not working back. I've never criticised him when he's gone for games without scoring. I've never criticised him when he hasn't passed to someone when he should pass to people at times, because he's an absolute legend of the club, and what you get from him, you have to put up with certain bits. I think some of the criticism this season of Mo Salah has been excessive. I've said that publicly. But I will go after Mo Salah when he tries to throw my club under the bus off the pitch and just think about himself. So I certainly will do that. Now,
what do you think he should have done, Jamie, then?
What he should have done?
In terms of this season, in terms of how it's played out, you know, he's such a proud guy. He's, as you say, he's got this huge ego. He's been left on the bench for 3 games.
Okay, let's understand, number one, right, Arne Slot, right? Arne Slot, 3 games before this run of 3 games, has conceded 10 goals in 3 games. One of them against PSV, Salah was embarrassing in terms of challenge he puts in. He then goes to West Ham away. Nuno team, big on set pieces, okay? What do we need to do? We need to keep a clean sheet. That's all he cares about. What's the one thing you're going to do as a manager? You're going to take out the one player in your team who you've allowed not to defend, okay? So that happens. You play Sunderland at home. I would have played him, but it's understandable you keep the same team, okay? What's he do? He brings him on at half-time. You then go to the away game, okay? So West Ham away and Leeds away. Why would you bring him on when you're winning those games? You don't need a goal. You need not to concede. So if you bring Salah on, you bring on a guy who can't defend set pieces and who doesn't run back. But the one time I wanted to be really critical and I held back this season about Mo Salah on the pitch, as I said before, I've never been critical of him on the pitch. He is a legend of the club, right? His legacy is there. If he doesn't score another goal or make another assist for this club, I don't care. He's been amazing. Where he really let himself down in my eyes was this season in Frankfurt and another game where there's a guy who signed for Liverpool who needs a goal more than anyone, Florian Wirtz. Instead of just being a great player for the club, be a great ambassador for the club and roll that ball to him for an easy tap in and go over, give him a hug and a kiss and say, you know what, you're the guy who's going to take this Liverpool team forward. I don't need any more goals. I've seen Barnes at the end. I've seen Ian Rush at the end. I've seen Steven Gerrard at the end. Do you think they were the same players in the pomp? Of course they weren't. Do supporters think any differently of them now when they see them, they say, no, yous are the top 5 or 6 players to ever play for Liverpool. And the same will be said of Salah. So in terms of on the pitch, the one criticism I've got, help the other players, help Florian Wirtz, help Isak. Don't be obsessed with your own numbers. And don't, as I said, what he's done off the pitch, I think the club have made the right decision in terms of him not going abroad now. And whether he will play for Liverpool again, I don't know. I hope he does, because he's one of the greatest players we've ever had. But if you continue like that, and statements like that, if he doesn't play, as I said, who cares? Who knows?
Do you think he's played his last game for Liverpool?
I have no clue. I cannot answer that question at this moment of time.
Do you feel he was referring to you when he said he feels like he's been thrown under the bus and that someone wants him out? And how do you feel overall about what he's had to say? What is your response, even particularly given he said that your relationship with him had broken down?
You knew you only got 3 questions, so you thought, let's ask 5 questions in one question.
It's kind of in different parts, isn't it, ABC?
So now, which question would you like me to answer first?
Well, do you feel he was referring to you when he talked about being thrown under the bus? And
the only one who can answer that question is Mo himself, so I can guess, but I don't think that's the right thing to do in this moment of time. So it's hard for me to tell who he means in that situation, to be honest.
So have you spoken to him then, and how do you feel about what he's had to say overall as well? Again, going back to the fact that he said that your relationship with him had broken down.
We've let him know that he's not traveling with us. So that was the only communication that's been there from us to him. Of course, before Saturday, the two of us have spoken a lot. Sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. And then your second question was?
Do you feel your relationship has broken down with him?
No, that's not the way I feel. But he has the right to feel how he feels things. I haven't felt that at all till Saturday evening for sure, because I think when I didn't play him anymore, usually players don't like the manager then that much, but he was very respectful to my staff members, to his teammates, and he trained really hard. So to an extent it was a surprise for me that when I heard after the game that he gave the comments he gave. But as I said, it's not the first and not the last time that when a player doesn't play, he I'm not sure if he was emotional or not, but that he says something something similar to what he did. But I think my reaction to that is also clear, and that's that he's not here with us tonight.
Will he be considered for selection against Brighton at the weekend? And what will it take to resolve this situation long term now?
No, I think we're sitting here on an evening before a big game, a big fixture for us, Inter Milan. And there was only now maybe 36 hours between the moment we've conceded the 3-3 against Leeds and the moment I'm sitting here now. And I think you can understand as well that I've tried to prepare my team in the best possible way for the game tomorrow evening. So the most thoughts I had are about tomorrow. And in the meantime, we've decided what I just said, not to take him with us to this game. And after tomorrow, we will look at the situation again.
So that's the Monday Night Football goals as they go in with us here in the Sports Centre. But we've got to talk about Arne Slot and the Mohamed Salah situation. Asmir Begovic has stayed on, doing a bit of extra time. Asmir, what did you make of what Slot said?
I thought it was fascinating. I thought it was quite an intense press conference, highly anticipated for everyone. I think Arne Slot was expecting a lot of questions, irked by a couple of questions you saw, but it's, I think, a very intense situation between everybody. Definitely not an easy one to navigate. I thought he did really well in terms of the questions he was asked and how he answered them, and tried to shift the focus on the game, which I think was the appropriate thing to do.
Who's going to win this power struggle?
I'm a firm believer in being able to communicate with each other and trying to find a solution. I know it's difficult at this moment in time. Everyone's quite emotional about the situation. But I think going forward, Liverpool's a better team with Mo Salah. And I think Mo Salah won't stay at Liverpool. So, I think AFCON comes at a really good time. So him going away, maybe, catching his breath, letting the dust settle, and then coming back and hopefully having a good conversation as to how to move forward in the best way.
Slot, in that news conference, was clearly trying to let everyone know he's in charge. Is he?
he is in charge. The club is in charge. I think Mo Salah, if you look at it, probably regrets those comments in the manner in which they happened. These things should probably stay within four walls and within the private room. But at the same time, this has happened now. You have to deal with it and try and move forward in the best way possible.
So Slot has left Salah out for the trip to Inter. Not disciplined him, though. Why do you think the club has acted like that?
I think leaving him out of such a big game, Inter Milan away at the San Siro, I think is punishment enough, so to say. I think, again, he's an experienced player, he's a legend of the football club. You have to deal with everyone a little bit differently. So I think he deserves the right treatment. Obviously, the club have to take a stance. Certain things can happen. They don't feel like this was acceptable, so they've punished him by leaving him out, which I think is punishment enough for any player not to be in the squad. And then you try and move forward better, as a whole group.
What do you think in the end? Kiss and make up or divorce?
I think you try and kiss and make up. I really think he's a legend of the football club. Like I said earlier, I think the fans love him. He's achieved so much there. He's obviously still cares a lot about the football club. I think he was disappointed not to be involved on Saturday and helping his team maybe get a better result. So I think he cares for Liverpool. I think there is a way of making this work. I think Arne Slot also mentioned that he'd like Mo Salah to stay. I think there's a way forward for everyone. So hopefully they can find the right solution.
Do you know, when you stop playing football, there's a job as a marriage counsellor for you. Thank you very much. Asmir Begovic, thank you.